Hello beauties, how are you all doing? My name is Shaz and I love colorful makeup, as you can see. Today we're going to do another to buy or not to buy video. These are videos where I talk about makeup that's releasing or makeup that has just released, and I tell you if there's anything I want to pick up, if there's anything I have no intention of picking up, and generally my opinion. And I encourage you to also write in the comments below what you are thinking about these releases. Also, while I'm talking about these releases, I'm going to do this eye look with Into the Night palette from Glaminatrix, which is one of my favorite brands. If you all have been watching my videos, you already know this. This palette launched a few weeks ago. It just got restocked. I checked before coming in front of the camera, and this palette is still in stock. If you are interested in picking it up, maybe by the end of the video, seeing how the palette performs, you become interested in picking it up, and then you can do that right after this video. So if all of that sounds good, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Now let's go into the video. As always, I have my coffee. I have the same candle that I had last time, Peony Apple. This is a very fresh smelling candle. There are quite a bit of things released, and I also received quite a bit of things. I think I mentioned to you last time that I did some purchases, and I was just going to quickly show you all. First of all, I bought these beautiful earrings in New York from do I have the box? I have the thing here from this store called Norbu in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. I find them super beautiful. Anyway, just wanted to say that, yes, I got back from New York. Obviously, I'm back home. Very short trip and extremely exhausting. And then after I got back, there was a lot of work to do. I love doing work, so I'm excited. I also have a lot of ideas for videos, so I'm looking forward to being able to do those, which is why I want to quickly show you some of these palettes that I've received just as a precursor to showing you what's coming up. Now, yes, I don't have nails. I have just not had the time. It's going to happen though sometime today or tomorrow, so it's going to happen in future videos. First of all, the first thing I received was this beauty complex from Unearthly. This is a palette of 5 multichrome, and I believe this one is the extreme metallic. So there is some like shifts. I'm not sure if you can see the shifts, but yeah, I thought I could do some swatches. I can do some, I don't know, eye looks, whatever, maybe one eye look, maybe a get ready with me. The next thing that I received, beauties, is from Adept. And yes, finally I ordered Minka. And yes, finally I have it in my hands. This was the palette that was about to get away, but it didn't get away. I have it, and I'm so excited to have it. And I know it's not a new palette, but I'm excited to have it. One thing I really like about Adept concept right now, which is something a lot of companies are doing these days, is that you can get these out. So, you know, you can like literally mix and match the pans and make your own palette, which is why I thought these two would be ideal to use with some other palettes that I have from Adept. And while I'm looking at this, I did not notice this, but these two colors look green and blue from the angle I'm looking at them. So, beauties, multichromes are gonna happen. I'm excited. I thought this palette was just metallics, and these look at like extreme metallics, and I'm so excited. Anyway, excited to have it in my hands. And you know what? Now that we're doing this, let me take this thingy off. Yes, they always do this just to make sure the logo, I'm guessing, doesn't get dinged, or you know, the outer packaging doesn't get dinged. And then, of course, beauties, as I had promised, here's SeaHorse. And let's do the same thing. This is the beautiful SeaHorse palette we all have been waiting for, and now I have it in my hand. This palette launched yesterday, the 26th. I got an email, I think I mentioned in my last to buy or not to buy, I got an email about a week ago saying I could order the palette. They opened the pre-order. I'm guessing the email went out to anybody who had ordered stuff from Adept in the past. So I'm guessing some other people received the same email. And I ordered it. We're going to do a video with this. I'm thinking I'm probably just going to do like a preliminary, like get ready with me. Let's play around with this palette. Maybe I'll just do a swatch video. to be decided, but I'm so excited about this palette. Now, beauties, this palette was pricey. This palette was $140. I'm gonna swatch these on camera and tell you in that video if I think it's worth $140 as someone who has tried and tested a lot of other multichromes from other brands. And now that we're talking about multichromes and special shades, I did want to mention that with my order from Glaminatrix, which made the palette we're going to be using today, I also purchased some other shades. They had released an extreme metallic set of shades, and I ordered one of them. This one is Alchemy, which is supposed to be sort of a teal metallic. And then I also ordered 3 of their holographic shades. I have HM3, HM5, and HM2 and Friends. These are truly multichrome holographic. Like, they look like green from this angle, and then you see pink from that angle. Yeah, so these are just amazing. Hopefully we'll have some time to test these in one of my videos. Let me know if you're interested in any of these things, and I'll try to prioritize those. And then, yes, we haven't finished. In fact, not only we haven't finished, there are stuff I've ordered that I have not received that we're not going to be even talking about. But of the stuff that I've received, we have not talked about this beauty. Yes, and I was so excited about this one. Now, the one that I received has this color Fizz Broken. Is that Fizz? No, it's Citrus. I need to get it out and repress it. I haven't had a chance to do that, but I am in the process of making 3 eyeshadow looks with this for a dedicated video, so stay tuned for that. It's going to come up hopefully in this upcoming week. And before I get started, I want to tell you all that Shine by SD had this gigantic release launch thingy either yesterday or the day before. So at the moment, Duality 2.0, which was in collaboration with Bizarre Volta and M. Jones 5018, are available. They also have their Hidden Gems collection released and available. And they also have released 3 new shades for their Fantasy 2.0 collection. I have a review of their Fantasy 2.0 collection, the 4 OG shades, in my channel. I'll tag it here and put it in the description box below if you're interested to just learn more about those shadows. Those shadows, friends, are the most shimmery, glittery, vibrant shadows I have ever used. That's Fantasy 2.0 collection. I have never seen any other shade that is like that. In my video, I swatch compared it with some other shades that looked similar from some of the other brands that I have and use. And these other brands are also, Touch of Glam, Terra Moons, Cleona, and brands that also have very vibrant shades. But those shades, friends, are just very unique. I did want to mention that, and I might pick that bundle up, which is kind of the first thing we are talking about. I'm starting to use Painterly. One thing that I've mentioned about Shine by SD in the past couple of To Buy or Not to Buys is that unfortunately, recently they haven't really bundled things. For example, for this collection, they could have bundled those 3 shades in their own bundle, because I would want to buy all 3, for example. A lot of other people might want to buy all 3, but they have released them as 3 shades separately. Again, Shine by SD, if you're watching these videos, please consider that. Okay, beauties, the first thing I want to talk about is something that was fully revealed this morning, and that we have talked about this in a past To Buy or Not to Buy, but back then it wasn't fully revealed, and now it is. And that is the new palette from Nomad Cosmetics. Now, beauties, you all know I've had a love and hate relationship with Nomad. I've definitely had some hit or misses in past palettes. But the last palette that I used from them was the Royal Europe palette, which I also have a video with coming up. And I found that palette really nice. And that palette, beauties, was amazing for the fact that it had 4 or 5 multichromes in it. And those multichromes are true multichromes. Now, when I saw this palette, I thought to myself, it's too neutral. But beauties, I believe this palette is representing Serengeti or Masai Mara. If you all don't know, I lived in Kenya for a short period. I worked for a Dutch company in Kenya. It says the shades were inspired by Okavango's magnificent creatures and naturally beautiful landscape. Beauties, Okavango is in Botswana. I've never been. I thought this was going to be about the Great Migration, which happens around summertime. I mean, summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, which is wintertime in Southern Hemisphere, which most of these African countries are located in. This palette's $42. Is not a limited edition palette, and it's releasing May 29th at 11 p.m. CST. I am very intrigued. It's unusual because this is a neutral palette. As you all know, I'm not a neutral loving person, but I can't promise anything. I might end up picking this palette up, and the price is pretty reasonable. Although there's a lot of other exciting things that I have already purchased, and I need to give them time to be used in this channel. But regardless, beauties, if you're picking it up, don't forget to use someone's code. Beauties, before I forget, the important announcement of today is that ColourPop is having a 30% off summer sale. Some of their 30 pan palettes are up for $24, $25. And I might pick up that palette that I talked about. What was the name? The 30 pan that has dark cool tone shades. Aura Struck, that one. Let me see if that's on sale. I'm guessing it is because that palette came out a while ago. That palette, I believe, came out last year. So I don't see why it wouldn't be. I don't have dates for when the summer sale is going to be over. So if there's something you're looking to pick up, now is your chance. Beauties, realistically, I've never seen ColourPop have a sale for more than 30% off. So don't wait if there's something you're interested in. So let's continue talking about this one, which is launching today. And someone needs to hide my wallet, friends. So Terra Moons is coming out with their summer release. I've talked about this in my past to buy or not to buys, and I just realized that the launch is actually today at 7 p.m. EST. I am very, very, very intrigued by this. I have not purchased anything from Terra Moons in quite a bit. I have quite a bit of their stuff, and the only reason I haven't picked up stuff in the past, year-ish is because I just have a gigantic Terra Moons collection. It's gonna come up in a swatch video. I love my Terra Moons collection, which is why I'm so excited. And beauties, now that we're talking about sales, let me also quickly remind you all that Memorial Day is on Monday. I mean, I feel like everybody knows this, but what that means is that there might be a lot of Memorial Day sale going on. I am looking, and it looks like Pat McGrath has their spring VIP sale right now. There's 30% off of certain types of purchases and 25% off certain other types of purchases. If there's anything you're interested in, go on the website and pick it up before it's too late. I'm not a Pat McGrath person. If you all are, I want to make sure you're getting the deal. And that I've also received a few emails here and there just reminding me that there are going to be Memorial Day sales by different brands. So if there's anything you want to pick up, don't forget that. Beauties, one release that I have not had a chance to talk about, and this release came out a while ago. I want to say maybe 6-7 weeks ago, but at that point in time I was in Europe for work and then for vacation, so I was just not available, and I kind of missed out on talking about it. Was Singe Beauty by Angelica Nyqvist. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I'm pretty sure I am pronouncing her name wrong. And her first release was a set of eyeshadow brushes. And I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of this release. I believe the whole set, the whole bundle set is $55. I'm wondering if I should pick this up. So I want you all to tell me, should I pick this up? I'm thinking about picking it up and using it in this channel. Now the thing is, beauties, realistically, $55 for 5 brushes is a little pricey for me. I buy a lot of brushes on sale usually, and I try to keep, maximum $7 a brush. And I also have a lot of brushes. However, I do want to support fellow influencers, and Angelica, let's be honest, she is one of those people who really set the stage for a lot of colorful makeup on the beauty influencer space and on YouTube. realistically, she is one of those people who made me buy a lot of palettes, introduced me to a lot of brands, and made me buy a lot of colorful makeup just because I really liked her channel. I used to watch her channel. I used to binge watch her channel back in 2018, 2019, and about a year and a half ago, I would just be watching every single video that she had. Then I got a little busy, and frankly, when you start making your own videos, you kind of don't have as much time to watch videos. But as I said, she is a pioneer in some of these beauty stuff. And of course, I want to support the first release of her own brand. I have bought a lot of her collabs. I have the Club Nebula. I bought it at launch. Yeah, so anyway, let me know, should I purchase this again? What do you all think? Touch of Glam Beauties is having a sale for 30% off for Memorial Day. I've been waiting for a sale from Touch of Glam. Another thing is that Viseart is saying that they're going to have a Memorial Day sale, and some items are going to be on sale up to 60% off. So if you're waiting on purchasing anything from Viseart, now is your chance. I don't own anything from Viseart, and I've always wanted to wait for a sale to pick something from Viseart. The problem is, usually when they go on sale in a situation like this, like right now, all these other brands that I'm also insanely excited about are also having a sale, so I really have to budget who I'm going to purchase from. Beauties, let's talk about this one. Serenity palette from Cosmic Brushes is back in stock. Yes, the palette of the year 2022. This palette, if you didn't hear about it, you must have lived under a rock or in some alien planet all of last year, because this palette was literally the palette of the year, and it's available right now. Also, beauties, you can use code nowadays with Serenity, with Cosmic Brushes. A lot of influencers now have codes with Cosmic Brushes, so do that. You can get 10% off. And the next thing I want to talk about is this release from Linda Hallberg. Now, you all know that this isn't necessarily for me because this is all neutral. I like the fact that there is a yellow in there. I feel like this is literally adding a little bit of pizzazz to the whole palette, but the swatches don't look like that color is actually showing yellow, so I'm a little bit confused, but still excited about the fact that it looks a little different from, you know, just another neutral palette. The name of the palette is Aim Higher, and it's $50. I'm pretty sure you can use some codes with Linda Hallberg if it wasn't already obvious. I'm not picking this palette up. Also, I think this brand is now called LH Cosmetics and no longer Linda Hallberg. Anyway, Linda Hallberg is the influencer who started the brand. I think she was an OG influencer on YouTube. Another thing that has been sneak peek that I'm excited to see is this palette from Anastasia. Now, the reason I'm excited to see it is because there have been some sneak peeks here and there about eye looks with this palette, and some of them look like they had blue in it. So I'm curious to see, and of course, you know, you're talking about Cosmos. You want to have some shimmeriness, some uniqueness, some planet kind of colors. So I'm looking forward to this being colorful. And beauties, I know this hasn't been the case with Anastasia in the past, like 4 years. I feel like Anastasia has not really had a colorful palette since maybe Subculture. And I'm looking forward to them having one. I feel like at some point they kind of tacitly separated Norvina brand from Anastasia brand, and Norvina brand became the brand that had all the colors, and then Anastasia brand just continued being yet another neutral brand. And Anastasia was a pioneer. For whoever doesn't know this, maybe we're too young to be around in 2016, 2015, Anastasia came out with Modern Renaissance palette, which at the time was considered an extremely colorful palette for its time. This is the time when, you know, this palette had reds and oranges and, you know, brick orange and colors like that. And at that point in time, you would not see colors like that in palettes. You literally only saw browns in palettes. I'm looking forward to Anastasia doing a comeback. Okay, beauties, before we move on, let's jump into this beautiful, beautiful palette. So this palette, by the way, is also restocked. It is actually in stock. I just checked. It's still in stock. I think they said this is the last restock right now. They are going to restock it in the future a little bit later in the year. I think they're having another palette come up. I'm going to go into Neon Lights. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful neon pink, and I have to use it. And I'm just going to put this in my crease. Beauties, the next thing I want to talk about is this one from Pout and Shout. It kind of looks like this palette has 3 or 4 mattes, but overall, I'm not seeing enough variety in the shades for me to be excited. It says there's a variety of finishes, but I don't think any of these is going to be multi-chromes or anything. It says textural and dimensional, but I don't know if that means any multi-chromes. I like to see more people using this before making any other deductions or deciding to pick it up. There's Chaotic Cosmetics coming out with rainbow face flexi colors. Looks like these can be used on eyes, face, lips, all of that. So exciting. Not for me. I don't really put anything on my face. Beauties, we talked about LH. Let's also talk about this one. Be Perfect is coming out with this. Now, this is kind of different from anything I've seen from Be Perfect recently. You all remember Be Perfect's palettes are usually gigantic with 200 shades, and they're usually very colorful. This is the first palette I'm seeing that is pretty neutral. Now, again, not for me. I think you all know this, but just because they have gone the extra mile of releasing something different, I give it to them. The name of the palette is Gravity, and it's going to be $30. These kind of shades are not shades I gravitate towards, so it's kind of pointless buying a palette that I'm not going to use. So everybody, just a little bit of description about what I'm putting on my eyes. The neon color is a little thin, meaning I have to really pack it up for it to sort of hide my skin color. This is not an uncommon thing from neon colors. For some odd reason, neon pigments are just thinner pigments. I don't know, they're drier, they're thinner, you have to build them up. That's just how they are. Let's talk about this one. Some of you wrote about it to me. Jolie Beauty is coming out with this collection. I think the collection is called Siren Makeup Bundle, and it has a siren, you know, on the cover. Beauties, I'm torn because this is considered a gigantic palette, and I normally should tell you this is a gigantic palette. How many colors does it have? 28 colors. That's just too many colors to have in a palette. There's probably dupes. You're not going to see the difference in a color on your eye and all of those things. But this is a beautiful palette. I love the color story. It kind of reminds me of the Lure palette. Actually, it reminds me very much of the Lure palette, except for some more neutrally browny olivey greens, which Lure didn't have. The palette is going to be $49, which honestly for 28 shades, that's a pretty good price. You can get lipsticks for $17. There are some glosses. I'm not a gloss person. The cream shadows are $22 each. And then the liquid shadows are $19 each. I'm also kind of curious about the cream shadows because these look like they're supposed to be multichromes. I'm intrigued. Let's move on. Beauties, I want to talk about this one. I know I already talked about ColourPop, but I saw this. This is apparently a new release from ColourPop called Smoking Hot, and I'm having 200 deja vus with this palette. Didn't ColourPop already come out with this palette before? Like, I kept seeing it in my feed, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought it's about the ColourPop sale, and I'm like, oh, yeah, ColourPop is having a sale. And then I saw it's actually about a new release. But I'm pretty sure ColourPop had this palette in the past. I'm feeling like ColourPop is duping itself so much. Let's move on. I'm going to pick a brush with a small head, and I'm going to go into this purple, beautiful purple color called Nightlight. Night Life. And I'm just deepening my outer V area. This is one of those colors that is like black with a dab of purple, and I love it. Beauties, let's talk about this one. Makeup Revolution is releasing their new artist collection. This collection is having sort of body paint type of stuff. The collection is gonna have a neon palette, a lot of face and body paint. It says UV paint palette, so I'm guessing paint that you can see in the evening. It's gonna have body, jewels, face jewels, embellishment kit. I don't know what that means, but overall and it also looks like it has a glitter balm, or I'm guessing this is like glitter for anywhere you want to put on the face or your body. This stuff is usually for people who want to go to parties or rave or things like that. If this is your thing, it's going to be available on the 28th, and you can use someone's code. And one good thing about Revolution Beauty is that the prices are usually super reasonable, so they're not going to be pricey or expensive. Beauties, let's talk about Skid Row, which is this palette from Indie Beat Cosmetics. I was kind of intrigued when I saw this. It's an interesting palette, interesting color story. The palette is going to release early June. You can use a code. It's going to be $30, which is pretty reasonably priced, with 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, and 2 marble shimmers. I think the 2 marbles are the ones that look like they've been touched. There is going to be more stuff coming out with this collection. They're saying they haven't revealed the other things that are coming out. I'm guessing they're going to reveal those things soon, because early June is in less than a week. If you want to buy the whole bundle, it's going to be $65, so even that is not that pricey. Let's talk about Pond Lily palette from Ladybug Glow. I feel like I'm talking about a new palette from Ladybug Glow literally every week. Beauty, something really weird about this palette is that I've seen 2 photos or 2 sort of release announcements about this palette, and the photos look dramatically different. In the first photo, the palette looks very similar to Cool Summer from It's Belle Cosmetics, which is why I thought to myself, you know, I have this palette. I don't need another palette that's kind of a dupe, particularly that right now there's a lot of other exciting things coming out, and I definitely want to put some time in using those. And then I saw the second one. And the second color story looks nothing like the first color story. It's almost as if these are 2 completely different palettes. This second one I'm interested in. This second one I'm like, I like trying this palette, because I definitely see dark colors now in this palette, and the color story looks nothing like the Cool Summer palette. So I'm just confused. Are these the same palette? Ladybug Glow, if you're out there, let us know which one of these 2 is the correct color story, correct photo, because these 2 look like different palettes. And I went on Ladybug Glow's Etsy shop trying to see what the brand has released in terms of photos, because I figured that's probably the truest color story, and there is nothing on their Etsy store about this palette yet. So let me tell you a little bit about the palette, and maybe by the time this video goes up, the palette's going to be available on their store and we can see true photos. The palette's going to be $37.50. With a code, you can get around $5 off for $33.75. There's going to be highlighters and single multichrome eyeshadows also available on their website with this release that you can pick up if you want. The palette is going to have 6 blendable mattes, 5 duochrome shifty sparkly shades, and 1 smooth multichrome. It says it's available now, but as I said, I could not find it on their website. I'll continue trying. Maybe it's already run out and it's no longer available on Etsy. I don't know. Anyway, you tell me if you know which one is the true color story. Moving on. Beauties, did I talk about this one last time? I'm pretty sure I did not. This is from Kiwi Cosmetics, and the palette's called Luxe Life. It's a very neutral palette, and it looks like it has a lot of redundant shade. Now, maybe that's just what the photo looks like. This should already be available. It also seems like the palette has at least 1 glitter shade. Well, yeah, it does have a warning that says this palette contains glitters, so probably not for me. Okay, beauties, now I'm gonna look up and use the same brush with the dark purple color and do my lower lash line. As you all know, this is a technique I use to not waste shades and also to not use too many brushes. I'm now brushing the color that I put on my lower lash line with the first brush that has the pink color still on it. I'm now dabbing some NYX glitter primer on my lid. I'm going to use this green on the rocks. This is one of those beautiful greens with a hint of pink. And I want to use this color in the inner part of my lid, so I am going to do that. I feel like the pink hue of this shade is going to go with the pink that I put on my lid, and the shade is just so beautiful. Beauty Bay Friends is releasing another 16 pan. It's actually coming out in a collection, and the palette itself is called the Tropical Inspired Palette, and it's definitely tropical inspired. It reminds me of like sunset or just a tropical place or summer. It's a beautiful, beautiful palette. I have quite a bit of these 16 pans from Beauty Bay. In fact, I have multiple videos in this channel doing eye looks with different one of these 16 pans. I generally like the quality of Beauty Bay shadows, and they're amazingly decently priced. Some of those 16 pans, friends, I bought for like $7, which is just a steal. Knowing that, I highly recommend Beauty Bay as an eyeshadow brand. I like their quality, I like their prices, I think they're very nice. They are a brand made in UK though, so I have heard of people experiencing shipping issues, but I also think they changed their whole shipping process last year because I received stuff relatively fast and I've never had anything get lost or anything, so I have had no issues. With that said, there is a very high likelihood I might pick this palette up. I'm gonna link all of the videos I mentioned, my past videos, and I also have a lot of other Beauty Bay videos. I have a whole Beauty Bay series in this channel. I'll put that series in the description box below if you're curious to just know my thoughts on Beauty Bay palettes. Yeah, I really like the brand, which is why I'm very likely to want to pick this palette up. And as I said, this is a collection. There's a few other things in this collection. If you want to pick it up as a collection, I'm sure you can pick the palette up by itself. As I said, it's already available. But if you want to pick up the collection that comes with a few other things, the collection is $35. I think the palette is like 12 or 16. It's pretty decently priced, but as I mentioned, these things also go on sale frequently. The interesting thing about this eye look is that the green is almost gone. It's not something that's throwing you off with this look. It's like totally blending into the look, and I'm just loving that. I'm gonna pick the brush that had the darkest color, and I'm just gonna quickly blend this edge to make sure the dark purple is blending into the edge of this green. Another thing that I wanted to mention related to Glaminatrix is that they had done a sneak peek, like super sneak peek, just mentioning or hinting that they might be coming up with perfumes or perfume samplers. And that is something I'm excited about. I've never talked about my perfumes, but I like a good perfume. And I'm one of those people who's very picky with perfume. So a good perfume, beauties, I love that idea. So if they come up with something that's recommended, I would definitely be interested in learning more. And while we're talking about perfumes, I wanted to also mention when I purchased Fantasy Cosmetica, I picked up the two perfumes that they had come out with, the Druid one and the Rogue one. And I haven't used them consistently for a long time or anything, but I used them a few times and I found those perfumes very nice. I'm the type of person who I get a headache with certain smells, particularly if the smell is very synthetic and artificial, or if the smell is very sweet. Like I like earthy, I like natural, I want to say flowery, but not sweet flowery. So those are good type of perfumes. I really like them. I mean, they matched my type of perfume style. I like citrusy and things like that, and like spicy citrusy stuff like that, and they were very nice. Let's talk about this one. Beauty Moon is coming out with this palette, Criminal. I have never heard about this brand, but I kept getting pinged about this. There is a pre-order that released May 20th at 12 p.m. CST. Maybe it's still open. This palette has 16 shades that has mattes, shimmers, and glitters. Yeah, friends, there's glitters, so I'm not going to pick this up. Also, it seems like this is a limited quantity, limited collection palette. So if you're interested, I'm also a little bit lost in the color story. It's one of those color stories that looks like it has all kinds of colors, and I'm just not understanding that. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Prism palette by Anastasia. That's an old palette. I'm aging myself. But it totally looks like that because that palette also had kind of the same color story. If I find a photo, I'll put it on the screen for you all. Okay, beauties, I'm now going to quickly go in happy hour with a very tiny brush, and I'm putting this color in my inner corner. This looks like one of those iridescent type of shimmery colors. So beautiful. This also has a hint of pink and a hint of very light copper, or you can call it like light orange, and it's so pretty. And beauties, the last thing I want to talk about is this one. These are from About Face, and these are not new. I don't think I've ever talked about these because I thought these are just face paints and I didn't have a whole lot to talk about back then, but now they're coming with all kinds of colors. And that's so exciting. I'm actually becoming very intrigued. And I'm thinking you can use them as eyeshadow base. You can use them as eyeshadows. You can use them as part of the eyeshadow. Like you can even use them as an eyeliner with a small brush. So I'm becoming super intrigued. If you know where I can purchase About Face, I don't know, for some reason I thought you could purchase About Face at like Walmart or Target or something, but I don't think that's true. If you know where I can purchase About Face, other than About Face website, of course, let me know. I'll be curious. I think I would pick one of these up just to see what it looks like. Let me know what you all think. Should I do that? Okay, beauties, I'm back. I went and put some lip paint from Tartiste in color Fly on my lips. I thought this kind of color went with the eye look, you know, kind of made it magenta pinkier, but you can also always use a neutralish color. You all know I love using Ofra's lip paint. Actually, what is this called? Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick in color Manila, as sort of a nudie color with very bold looks. So that's another alternative. Also, I kind of mentioned this throughout the video, but just recapping, there are a lot of sales going on for Memorial Day. If there was any brand you were waiting on shopping from, check it out this weekend. They might be having a sale. Thank you so much, beauties, for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to write to me below if you're excited about any of these palettes or launches, if you've picked anything up, generally your thoughts on these. I love to hear from you. Thanks again. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing Memorial Day. And until next time, bye.